Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. We will proceed with Chapter 2, Business Process Redesign Principles, Lighting the Way. So the objectives of this chapter, at the end of this chapter, you will be able to list and describe the 7 process principles for redesign, list and explain the 7 transformation principles to guide managers in their project strategy, structure and process, and identify and describe the 6 principles that provide guidance for continued productivity and success, which is continuous process improvement. There will be 3 principles that we'll look at. Okay, first is process redesign principles, second is transformation principles, and the last one is continuous process improvement principles. Okay, after redesign the process of the organization, of some part of the organization, after the transformation process, here comes the continuous process improvement. Okay, so we need these principles, the 7 principles of process redesign, the 7 principles of transformation, and these 6 principles of continuous process improvement to guide us to do things, to monitor our work, our processes, okay, to assess the processes that we have done earlier at the transformation process at the implementation stage, all right, to improve any techniques required, any technique required in any parts of the operation of the organization, of the new processes, of the radical changes that we have done earlier. Okay, why we need this continuous process improvement. Okay, we need the continuous process improvement so that we'll know, okay, we'll improve on certain things. If let's say there's flaws in the process itself, we can take action, okay, through the feedback provided by our customers, the internal or external customers. So we need these continuous process improvement principles to guide us to assess, to improve things, to improve the processes that we have implemented earlier, right? Re-engineered business processes must be maintained. Therefore, there are 6 principles that will provide guidance for continued productivity and success. First is improvement is everyone's responsibility. Second, improvement is always desirable. Third, pay attention to detail. Fourth, quality requires systemic work. Fifth, create an ongoing exchange and sharing of information. And last is quality is driven by individuals, not the organization. Let us first take a look at the first principle for continuous process improvement. That is, improvement is everyone's responsibility. So each manager, each unit, each of the individuals in the organization, you are responsible, you are accountable for any continuous improvements in the organization, okay, within that process, the processes that we have re-engineered earlier. So you are accountable for the improvement in the 7 areas, okay, in the organization. We have communication, quality, error reduction, productivity, customer satisfaction, cost reduction, and worker satisfaction and enjoyment. So basically, it's about the satisfaction of the internal and external customer. Okay, you don't simply disband or dissolve the project team re-engineering after it has been completed, after the implementation has been completed. Okay, you don't simply disband, you don't simply dissolve it. Okay, because of what? If you dissolve, if you disband this project team, okay, people will no longer have the team for them to refer to if there's a problem with that particular process or new steps for that particular task, right? So we still need that project team or anyone in the organization, whom we can refer to if there's any problem arise, for especially for that particular process. Okay, so we need that, so that we can try to solve the problem. They are referring to the correct person for them to refer to if there's a problem with current process, current system, for example. So it is not only on the, let's say, the customer satisfaction, the worker satisfaction, the enjoyment of the worker. It is sometimes related to the communication of certain things, communication of the, let's say, the processes, the new processes, the steps taken for that new processes. You need to communicate. If let's say there's a communication breakdown, so you will something need to be done, and this particular person, they need to refer to which department, which unit, or which organization, okay, which team members to refer to. If there's something happen with the quality, the quality if not to the standard, so it will lead to customer dissatisfaction. Yes, so where to refer to? Okay, so this is actually the project is actually the re-engineering that we have done is actually the responsibility of everyone in the organization. So we should take responsibility. We should be accountable for anything, anything related to the re-engineering project that we have done. The second continuous process improvement principles is improvement is always desirable. Okay? So we need to do the improvement from time to time so that it will satisfy the customer. Okay? A successful, healthy work unit, whether it consists of a large corporation, many people in the organization, or most of the people in the organization, or only two people, should constantly strive to improve what it does with the resources it has. So you need to improve from time to time. Maybe some of the customer, the internal or external customer, they have complain to you formally or informally, so you will need to improve that particular processes. Focusing on customers and improvements keeps the unit's mode of operation proactive and anticipatory rather than reactive. The key to success for re-engineering is improvement. So if there's the need for the improvement, so we need to do it. We don't have to wait for people to complain. Sometimes we ourselves can see there's something need to be improved, like what we have discussed just now in class. What has been raised in class just now. One of the student raised of they prefer the PowerPoint slide with audio. I know the I am I actually aware of that that improvement to be done. Then rather than just sending you the audio recordings, I will embed the audio recordings in the PowerPoint slide. So this customer has been heard, and it gives for improvement in the organization, in the processes, in the delivery techniques of the lectures, for example. So improvement is always desirable in the organization. Either it comes from the customers, the internal or external customers, or it comes from you yourself. You yourself identify, you yourself are aware of the needs for that improvement. The third continuous process improvement principle is pay attention to detail. What does it mean by paying attention to detail? You have to pay attention to each of the items, each of the attributes, each of the tasks in detail. You have to pay attention comprehensively to the detail. you have to exhaustively paying attention to the tasks given to you, to the processes involved in the organization, in the re-engineering, in the processes, right? So inattention to this detail will lead to disastrous of the processes in the organization. It will lead to the failure of the re-engineering process. Okay? So these improvements are lasting only when people attend to the lowest level of detail. Okay, so the work processes must provide detailed feedback data before the problem turns into a crisis. For example, simplest thing, okay, if you want to bake cake, right, if you put too much flour, it will make the cake dry and crumble. All right, if you, let's say, you don't add enough butter to the cake, it will make it dry too. All right, so you have to pay very careful attention to these tasks, to even though it is a very small tiny task that you think that it is not that important, but still you need to focus, you need to pay full attention comprehensively to this task. All right, if let's say a doctor, they do not follow the guidelines given, or they think that this particular part of the surgery is not will not um, give a big impact to the patient. Okay, but then after everything was done, the surgery is a successful. It is a successful surgery. And then there's a complication with the patient, for example, because of these tiny things that they don't pay attention to. All right, so we need to pay attention to this detail. Okay, detail it out in maybe in the manual, so that people would quickly look at these manuals and these procedures to refer to make their decision. Okay, so it is the responsibility of the project team members of the re-engineering to detail out every single detail of the task, so that it will be a successful to the re-engineering to the organization. The fourth continuous process improvement principle is quality requires systemic work. What does it mean by this systemic work or systemic change? It means that the change has to be fundamental. It needs to be the change needs to be basic, foundational. The original ideas that you have, the primary source. Okay, so the change should be principles, and the things that are very important to the organization. eh? um, it means that the change can be gradual institutional reforms, but those reforms must be based on and aimed at a transformation of fundamental qualities, of the system. Okay, so improving the environment and customer responsiveness required a systemic change. All right, it required the fundamental change. It required the principle change, the original, the root. All right, so change in the union contract and supporting business policy. Okay, it is not only related to the business policy, the one that we have in the organization, but it is related to something outside the organization. Okay, we have to work together. Okay, whatever that we have in the organization, the processes involved in the organization, it should be parallel with the one of the outside the organization, or the change should happen outside the organization for us to for the re-engineering to be successful. Okay, so people must have the skills to identify, to analyze the problem, create problem solving strategies, and communicate the situation to involve others. So here, okay,
Quality means we as the employees, we as the team members of the re-engineering, we as the unit, we must have the skills. Okay, we must have that knowledge, okay, the experience to identify, okay, to identify, to analyze the problem. Okay, we need to be aware of the problem. Okay, we need to be sensitive, okay, so that we know the existing problem, and then we try to create the problem solving strategies. We try to solve, we try to curb the problems based on the processes that we have outlined earlier, based on the resources that we have in the organization. Okay, and then we need to communicate the situation to involve others. Okay, we are doing things in teams. All right, so we need to communicate with anyone in the organization who are related to that particular problem, who can help us to solve the problem. Okay, so it's actually everyone's responsibility. The improvement is actually everyone's responsibility. Okay, so this will improve the quality of the process improvement. Okay, so the systemic work. Okay, and then the organization environment must welcome and encourage the messages. All right, any messages that we received from inside or outside the organization, we have to analyze those messages. Okay, do not just think it is the messages comes from whistleblower while they are the truth tellers. Okay, you will diminish, you will discourage, all right, the feedback from the customers, either internal or external customers. Okay, if you think that the ideas are from the whistleblowers only, sometimes even though it is very what we call it, uh, it is very sad to know the truth, but we need to take those feedback, those complaints into action, or else you will lead the employees to become uncommitted to the work. All right, and it will lead to poor quality, poor performance of the employees in the organization. The fifth continuous process improvement principle is create an ongoing exchange and sharing of information. Please do exchange information and share the information that you have at hand. Right? People can only take action if they have knowledge and awareness of something. All right? So we as the employees in the organization, as the individuals in the organization, as the unit, as the manager in the organization, we need to encourage this knowledge sharing, the information sharing, the exchange sharing among the employees, so that it will help individuals in the organization, or the units in the organization, or the manager in the organization to take actions based on the knowledge that they have, right? Uh, there are actually a re-engineered operation must be imbued with these capabilities and values. There are a few capabilities and values. You need to include this capability and values. Okay, methods for anticipating problems. There must be a methods for anticipating problems. You might do the pre-mortem rather than post-mortem, because you want to anticipate. You want to predict what are the problems that you will face. Okay, if you do these processes, if you change this process, for example. Okay, so you have to ask the team to envision themselves at the end of the project, what outcomes they would expect if to see if their work were completely successful. All right, so give them time to brainstorm silently, um, uh, look at searching for the ideas. All right, and then maybe you ask them to share the ideas that they have envisioned. All right, and you might share out the ideas, all right, the desired outcome with the group. Okay, and then think of the worst case scenarios. Okay, what they think could go wrong if we implement this idea, for example. Okay, you don't have to worry about the negative outcomes. You don't have to worry about the uh, alien invention, for example. uh, um, it is just a brainstorm session, and we want to have maybe from that few ideas, one idea is the best idea that we can implement, for example. Okay, and then, and maybe if let's say we choose one idea, and then we might maybe that idea is it seems the best idea, and we can brainstorm the preventive measure if there's a problem with that idea. All right, so so here he will ensure the positive and negative outcomes of the idea. Okay, and then we need to prioritize. Okay, prioritize, and maybe top 3 to 5 most critical ideas that will uh, uh, take next steps, so that will implement those ideas, for example. Yeah, and then the data is non-judgmental and should be viewed as an opportunity for improvement. Okay, so whether it spells good news or bad news, is a matter of perspective. And then transmit problem solutions and improvement ideas is a critical worker and managerial function. Okay, so everyone has the responsibility. Everyone must take that must be accountable to the problem that arise. There's no need for every work group to reinvent the wheel by replicating another's group painful experience or situation. Group should learn from each other. So so you should have the ideas of how to solve the problems. And then next, information sharing should be proactive. It should be proactive. People should not have to go looking for the information. That's why we need this information sharing. We need this information exchange. And last says, never kill the messenger. They should be rewarded and encouraged to share information, even though the information is not that good information. You think it is an alien invasion, for example. Please reward and encourage those people who share information.
The last principles of continuous process improvement is quality is driven by individuals, not organization. So in order for us to have a successful productivity improvement, right, it is depending on the individuals in the organization. Because of what? Improvement happens because people care, because they are committed to the best performance and quality they can deliver, because they want to do things to the very best, to their level best. They believe they can improve the process in the organization, and they are committed to the changes. They want to improve themselves. They want to improve the processes as well, and they discover and learn from any source possible. So if let's say they don't get the information from the colleagues, they go and search for the information by themselves. They can ask people around. So they are committed to success. They want to help the organization to achieve the goals, right? So Peter Senge calls it personal mastery. Okay, you want to improve your personal skills, your personal knowledge, okay, in order for you to increase your contribution to the organizations. Okay, so continually striving to increase one's contribution to the group to which one belongs. So you will be committed to the work, to your life, all right? Okay, personal mastery is possible only in environment that encourages and rewards improvement at all level. So we need to encourage people uh, to help the organization in achieving its goal. And we need to encourage people to come up with ideas. We need to encourage people to share their knowledge. We need to encourage people to work in teams. All right. And we need them to be responsible to their responsibility, to be accountable to their responsibility. All right. So and we should rewards any improvement at all levels to encourage people to improve the processes, and to encourage people to involve in the improvement process. Okay, so that are the 6 continuous process improvement principles.